Emily never imagined that the two people she trusted most would betray her in the same breath. Her sister Ava didn't just steal her fiancé, she stole the future Emily spent years building. And while the world believed Emily disappeared out of heartbreak, they had no idea she was preparing something far more powerful. On the day Ava married Noah, a gift arrived at their reception. A gift that would tear open every secret they tried to bury. Emily Carter had always been the kind of woman who planned everything with care. Not obsessively, just with heart. She believed in handwritten invitations, heirloom lace, and soft ivory roses. She believed in building a life the same way a person builds a home. Slowly, carefully, with good intentions and strong foundations. And for 2 years, she believed she had all of that with Noah Whitmore. Their love story wasn't dramatic or wild. It was simple, steady, beautiful. The kind of relationship people pointed at and said, that's the real thing. Or so she thought. Emily spent months choosing the venue, a rustic barn with warm lights and weathered wood just outside their small town. She picked the menu, the music, even the shade of bridesmaids' dresses Ava would wear. Her younger sister had been her confidant throughout the entire process. Ava listened to Emily gush about Noah, helped her choose shoes, folded ribbons for favors, and pretended to be excited. Pretended. That word would haunt Emily later. With just a few weeks left before the ceremony, Emily felt life settling into a rhythm she had always hoped for. Her job was steady, her parents were excited, and Noah seemed content, if not a little distracted. Emily noticed the small changes, him turning his phone away, leaving earlier than usual, brushing off long conversations. But she trusted him. She trusted Ava even more. Ava had always been the charismatic one, glowing in every room with a voice people couldn't ignore. Emily used to joke that Ava could charm the sun into rising early. She never imagined that charm would be turned toward the man she planned to marry. The day everything collapsed started like any other. Emily was collecting her altered wedding dress, humming under her breath, imagining walking down the aisle toward Noah. She had decided to surprise him with coffee from their favorite cafe, a gesture she'd done 100 times. But the moment she stepped inside, the world seemed to tilt. There, in a corner booth, sat Ava, and across from her, leaning in close, smiling softly, was Noah. Ava's hand rested on top of his like it belonged there. Noah's eyes held hers with a warmth he hadn't shown Emily in months. Emily stood frozen, her heart pounding so loudly she was certain people nearby could hear it. Ava's laughter died mid-sentence when she saw her sister. Noah straightened, guilt spreading over his face like spilled ink. Neither of them spoke. Emily didn't scream, she didn't cry, she didn't demand an explanation. She simply whispered, voice trembling but dignified, "I trusted you both." And with that, the dream she spent 2 years building disappeared. Not because of a stranger, but because of the two people she loved most in the world. In the days following the betrayal, Emily Carter felt like she was living inside a body that no longer belonged to her. She moved slowly, spoke little, and avoided mirrors because she didn't want to look into her own eyes and see the brokenness staring back. Her parents tried to comfort her, offering soft words and home-cooked meals, but nothing seemed to fill the hollow space where trust used to live. Friends reached out, confused and furious on her behalf, but Emily didn't respond. She wasn't ready to relive the pain by explaining it. What hurt most wasn't Noah. It wasn't even the wedding she had spent 2 years planning. It was Ava, her little sister, her best friend since childhood, the girl she protected from bullies, helped with homework, covered for when she stayed out late. Emily had always believed that sisterhood was unbreakable, but betrayal from family didn't just break, it shattered. Instead of confronting Ava or Noah again, Emily did something no one expected. She disappeared. Not dramatically, not with vindictive speeches or social media posts. She simply packed a single suitcase, rented a small guest house 2 towns away, and slipped out of her old life like a shadow moving across a wall. She turned off her phone for 3 days. Let it die. Let the world spin without her. By the time she turned it back on, there were 27 missed calls from Ava, 13 from Noah, and countless texts from relatives who didn't know which side to stand on. Emily opened none of them. She wanted silence, not explanations. Her absence became the loudest answer she could give. Ava sent paragraph after paragraph claiming she never meant for this to happen, that she fell in love by accident, and that love doesn't choose timing. Noah message saying they never wanted to hurt her, as if that made the betrayal less sharp. Emily deleted everything without reading past the first lines. She refused to give them the satisfaction of a reaction. In her small rented home, Emily created new routines: morning walks, quiet dinners, reading books she never had time for. She started journaling, not to dwell on the pain, but to understand herself again. Day by day, she gathered the pieces of her dignity like shards of glass. Painful to hold, necessary to reclaim. Meanwhile, Ava and Noah moved forward with their rushed courthouse wedding, trying to cover their guilt by pretending their love story was meant to be all along. Ava's invitations for Emily to attend the reception grew more desperate. "Please come. I need you there. We're still family. I know you're hurt, but we want you with us." Emily didn't answer. She wouldn't sit in a room applauding the two people who had burned her life down. But she wouldn't stay silent forever. Silence was temporary. Closure, that was coming. And when it came, it would arrive wrapped in silver paper at their reception. The Willowbrook Lodge had hosted hundreds of weddings, but never one as tense, whispered about, and uncomfortable as Ava and Noah's reception. The moment the invitations were sent out, gossip spread like wildfire across town. Everyone knew the story. Everyone had an opinion. Everyone wondered one thing. Would Emily show up? Ava pretended not to care, but the truth was written all over her. She kept checking her phone, refreshing messages, watching the entrance every few minutes like she was expecting her sister to walk in demanding answers. Noah, on the other hand, kept his discomfort hidden under a stiff smile and too many glasses of champagne. His parents came but kept their distance, their disappointment obvious. They had loved Emily. They didn't trust Ava, and they certainly didn't believe Noah's version of the story. Guests arrived in elegant dresses and polished suits, but the atmosphere felt nothing like a celebration. Conversations were hushed, eyes glancing toward the door every time it opened. People didn't come to support the couple. They came to witness the aftermath of betrayal. Ava's best friends tried to hype her up, but the nervous energy clung to her like a second skin. She saw pity in every smile, judgment in every whisper. She hated it. This was supposed to be her moment, her fairy tale beginning. But without Emily, everything felt smaller, dimmer, incomplete. The ceremony had been done at the courthouse, quiet, fast, and awkward. But the reception was Ava's attempt at rewriting the narrative. She hired the best florist, booked a professional photographer, and ordered a 3-tiered cake decorated with sugar roses. She even placed a small, empty chair at her bridesmaid's table. Emily's chair. A few guests murmured, "Maybe she'll arrive late." Others whispered, "I heard she moved away." One woman said under her breath, "If my sister did that to me, I wouldn't show up either. Ava pretended not to hear, but her jaw tightened. The night continued with forced laughter and shallow toasts. Noah's best man gave a short speech that avoided any mention of how the couple got together. Ava's parents made an effort to smile, though their eyes kept drifting to the empty space where Emily should have been sitting. Everywhere she looked, Ava saw reminders of her sister, or rather, her sister's absence. It hurt more than she expected. And as the evening wore on, Noah leaned toward Ava and whispered, "Maybe it's better she isn't here." Ava forced a smile, but her stomach twisted with an ache she couldn't swallow down. And just when she began accepting that Emily would never come, the doors opened, the music softened, a staff member pushed in a large silver-wrapped box on a cart tied with a pristine white ribbon. Gasps echoed, heads turned, Ava's breath caught. The tag read only 2 words, "For the bride." She didn't know it yet, but Emily had just arrived. The moment the silver-wrapped box was pushed into the hall, the atmosphere shifted. The music faded into the background, conversations stopped mid-sentence, and every pair of eyes locked onto the mysterious delivery as if it carried a heartbeat of its own. Ava felt her chest tighten. The box was beautiful, tall, perfectly wrapped, perfectly sealed. The kind of gift presented at royal events, not small-town wedding receptions. The white ribbon gleamed under the chandelier, crisp and flawless, untouched. Someone had taken their time. But who? Ava glanced at Noah, silently asking if this was a surprise he had planned. He shook his head slowly, confused, or maybe nervous? She couldn't tell. The event coordinator, a cheerful woman named Marissa, smiled brightly, unaware of the tension she had walked into. "This was left with instructions to deliver it at exactly 8 o'clock, she said. "Congratulations, Mrs. Whitmore." Ava's stomach flipped at the title, Mrs. Whitmore. It was supposed to feel magical. Instead, it felt heavy, tainted, fragile. She forced a smile. "Who delivered it?" Marissa shrugged. "No name, no details, just precise instructions." A wave of whispers rippled through the crowd. "Maybe it's from Emily." "No, she wouldn't send anything." "What if she came after all?" "Could it be from someone else?" Ava swallowed hard. The idea that her sister might have reached out felt both comforting and terrifying. Her fingers trembled as she reached toward the box. "Do you want to open that later?" Noah whispered, placing a hand on her wrist. Ava shook him off gently. "It's fine." But it wasn't fine. Something about the box felt intentional, heavy with meaning, heavy with possibility. The ribbon slid off smoothly. The paper peeled away with a soft hiss. The room leaned closer. Inside was a smaller velvet pouch, a sealed white envelope, and a black flash drive. No label, no message, no clue. Ava frowned and lifted the drive. "What is it?" someone asked. "Looks like a slideshow," another guest whispered, trying to make sense of it. Before Ava or Noah could react, Marissa, trying to be helpful, signaled the DJ. "Oh, let's plug it into the projector. It might be a video message." Ava's eyes widened. "Wait, no!" But the DJ had already inserted the flash drive into the laptop connected to the giant screen behind the couple's table. Noah lunged forward. "Stop it! Don't play!" The screen brightened. The speakers crackled. A hush fell so absolute that Ava could hear her own heartbeat pounding inside her ears. The video opened on a hotel doorway. A woman's voice giggled softly. A familiar voice, too familiar, whispered something back. Then the camera shifted. The crowd gasped. Ava's fingers went ice cold. The man in the video was Noah, and the woman wasn't Emily. She wasn't Ava. She was someone else entirely. The walls of the reception hall seemed to close in as Ava realized one devastating truth. This wasn't a gift. It was a warning. And it came from the one person she had betrayed. The screen flickered, and the first images filled the hall. Guests leaned forward, whispers fading to stunned silence. Ava's heart thumped so violently she feared it might be heard over the projector's hum. The video started innocuously, a casual dinner, laughter, light chatter, but then the camera zoomed in on Noah, and the room froze. It wasn't Emily he was laughing with. It wasn't Ava. It was another woman entirely, Sierra Blake, a woman Emily had discovered through a few careful, discreet investigations in the weeks after her disappearance. The kind of woman whose existence Noah had carefully hidden. And the evidence was damning. Late-night texts, stolen kisses, hotel receipts, even voice messages with promises meant only for her ears. The video played on, and the room grew heavier with every frame. Guests gasped, whispered, and some even covered their mouths in shock. Ava's face paled. She felt like the floor had disappeared beneath her. Noah's confident posture crumbled. Every lie, every secret, every stolen moment of trust, all displayed for the world to see. Marissa, the event coordinator, nearly dropped the laptop in horror. The DJ froze, unsure whether to stop the video or let it play. But the footage wasn't just shocking. It was deliberate, curated, intentional. Someone wanted this shown, and that someone was Emily. Ava's fingers trembled as she held the velvet pouch. The small envelope inside contained a letter in Emily's neat handwriting. Her pulse raced as she unfolded it. Ava, you thought you were taking my fiancé, my life, my happiness. You didn't see that he was already betraying you. I've given you a gift, the truth. This isn't revenge, it's clarity. Before you build a life on lies, I want to know what you're marrying. Emily. A hush fell over the hall. Some guests looked at Ava with sympathy, others with disbelief. Ava could barely breathe. Noah tried to reach for the flash drive, stammering apologies no one could hear over the stunned silence. His lies had unraveled in the most public way possible. The couple who thought they were celebrating love now faced its most uncomfortable exposure. For Ava, the betrayal was double. She had betrayed her sister, and now she had been blindsided by Noah's hidden betrayals. Tears filled her eyes as she sank into the chair beside the table. Every carefully constructed lie she had believed about Noah's love for her collapsed like a house of cards. The reception hall, meant to celebrate a new beginning, became a courtroom of truth. Emily's absence was now the loudest presence in the room. With one gift, one flash drive, one letter, Emily had shifted the power entirely. She hadn't screamed, she hadn't confronted, she hadn't raged. She had simply exposed the truth and let it speak louder than anger ever could. Noah's lips quivered as he tried to speak, but words failed him. Ava's face, streaked with tears, reflected the realization that their fairy tale was built on a foundation of deceit. Emily had taken the high road. She had given them a choice: confront reality or continue living a lie. The room watched in tense silence as the newlyweds faced their unraveling. And somewhere, miles away, Emily smiled softly, sipping her tea, knowing she had finally reclaimed her peace, not through revenge, but through truth. The room was silent. Ava's trembling fingers clutched the envelope Emily had left in the gift box, her tears falling freely now. Noah's face was pale, his bravado completely shattered. Guests stared, unsure whether to intervene or let the drama unfold. The reception that was meant to celebrate love had become a stage for the truth. A truth carefully orchestrated by Emily Carter, who remained miles away, untouched by the chaos she had created. Ava unfolded the letter fully, reading aloud the words that cut deeper than any confrontation could. Ava, you didn't just take my fiancé. You took years of trust, countless memories, and a place in my heart that no one else could occupy. But I am not here to punish you. I am here to give you something far more powerful: clarity. A wave of emotions washed over Ava: guilt, fear, sorrow, and a realization she couldn't deny. Every choice she had made in the past few weeks now carried consequences she hadn't imagined. Her marriage, hastily built on stolen moments and deceit, had no foundation. The man she thought she loved had already betrayed her in ways she hadn't anticipated. And now, exposed in front of everyone, she could see the full magnitude of her mistake. The letter continued: I have given you everything you need to make the right choice. You can stay and face the truth, or you can walk away before it's too late. I chose silence before because I wanted you to find your own path. I choose honesty now because I deserve my peace, and you deserve a chance to start over without lies shadowing your life. Ava's tears blurred the words, but she could feel the weight of them sinking into her bones. She looked at Noah, who sat frozen, unsure what to do. His eyes pleaded, but Ava's heart had already begun to understand what Emily's wisdom had illuminated. Love built on deception is no love at all. The reception whispered, some comforting, some judgmental, but Ava didn't hear them. She only felt the truth pressing against her chest, undeniable and clear. The gift Emily had sent was not vengeance, it was liberation, for Emily and for Ava, if she chose to accept it. Noah finally opened his mouth, but the words felt hollow, powerless. Ava shook her head slowly, realizing there was nothing he could say to fix the damage, no apology to erase what had already been revealed. She had been given the rarest gift, a chance to leave before her life was ruined further by deceit. Somewhere, miles away, Emily sat quietly on the porch of her small, rented house. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with soft golds and pinks. She sipped her tea, feeling a lightness in her chest she hadn't felt in weeks. She hadn't sought vengeance. She hadn't sought chaos. She had sought only truth. And in delivering it, she reclaimed not only her peace, but her power. Back at the reception, Ava and Noah's marriage, rushed, dishonest, and fragile, began to unravel in ways they couldn't stop. Emily's gift, her words, and the evidence she left behind had reshaped everything. And for the first time since the betrayal, Emily allowed herself to smile. She had lost a wedding, a fiancé, and a sister's loyalty, but she had gained the most important thing of all: her freedom, her dignity, and the knowledge that sometimes the quietest, most measured response is the one that leaves the greatest mark. Emily Carter was finally free. In the end, Emily didn't need revenge to win. The truth did that for her. As Ava cried over the shattered pieces of her perfect wedding and Noah faced the wreckage of his own lies, Emily walked toward a life finally free from betrayal. She learned that losing people who were never loyal is not a loss. It's freedom. And sometimes the bravest choice is choosing yourself. If this story moved you, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more emotional narratives. Your support helps these stories reach the hearts that need them most.